The great day of the Lord is near.
Oh, yes, not to them. Right. You could, you just, if you want to expand, it's up to you. I don't think you could do that. You could see yours, they wouldn't see it that way.
Alright, so
you go ahead.
probably,
You can see that. Yeah, you could do it. Yeah, nice.
Alright.
Yeah, good.
So the reading says, taken from Faith We Live By, 3:43. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasted greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. Okay, we are near the close of time. I have been shown that the retributive judgments of God are already in the land. The Lord has given us warning of the events about to take place. So of course, when we look at the events that are taking place in the world right now, yes, we can safely say that God's retributive judgment is actually on the earth as we speak. Alright? What does it mean for us as a people, as a church? Those who are drinking from the same fountain of blessing will draw nearer together. Truth dwelling in the hearts of believers will lead to blessed and happy assimilation. Thus will be answered the prayer of Christ that his disciples might be one, even as he is one with the Father. For this oneness, every truly converted heart will be striving. Amen? Yeah. So in times like these, brethren, we ought to be seeking for oneness, of course with like-minded persons, alright, in the faith. Because something else is taking place. A union is taking place that is separate from this union that we are striving to achieve. Alright, the final paragraph says, with the ungodly, there will be a deceptive harmony.
That's right.
That but partially conceals a perpetual discord. So, whilst God's church is supposed to be uniting under the same doctrine, having one mind, right? One spirit, and these things, there's another entity that is united under Satan's banner. And it's only obvious that they are seeking to fight against God through the persons of his people. Okay? So we need to understand which side we stand on. Alright? Under the subject of death, the Lord is removing his restrictions from the earth. And soon there will be death and destruction and increase in crime. Already we are seeing an increase in these things taking place here on the earth. Those who are without God's protection will find no safety in any place or position. So it's important that we make sure that we have God's protection. Alright? Yeah. We cannot really save ourselves from these things. Right? We can we might seek to avoid certain places or place security systems in a place and all these different things. Alright? These things wouldn't necessarily protect us. We need to seek God for protection in a time like this. Alright? Especially we believe that we are living in the last days. And we are preparing ourselves for translation. Alright? So God is the only one who can protect us from these things. So it means to say that we ought not to fear or live in a state of fear. Okay? Human agents are being trained and are using their inventive power to put into operation the most powerful machinery to wound and to kill. So this is through wars and the equipment, the guns, the bombs and all these different things that are being invented, yeah, for mass destruction and all the other implements through food and all these different things, right, that Satan is using to destroy mankind. Disasters by rail will become more and more frequent. Confusion, collision, and death without a moment's warning will occur on great lines of travel. The end is near, probation is closing. Oh, let us seek God while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. Okay, brethren, this is a time in Earth's history where we need to seek to get closer to God. Alright? The things of this world, these are things we ought to be shunning. Alright? Probably 20 years ago, 10, 20 years ago, we would have had more time, to dabble a little bit. But in this day and age, as we see things closing up, we need to seek to have a closer relationship with Christ. Alright? So of course, we must touch on the subject of health. As the medical missionary work is the right arm of the gospel, it means to say that we must take time to go through some of these principles concerning health. Amen?
Amen.
And the whole object is to keep in view the great object of health reform. Alright, what is the main object of health reform? In teaching health principles, keep before the mind the great object of reform. That its purpose is to secure the highest development of body and mind and soul. Okay? So this is the main object of health reform. To keep the body and the mind in proper order then. Okay? And what's the reasons for keeping the body and the mind in such condition? Show that the laws of nature, being the laws of God, are designed for our good, that obedience to them promotes happiness in this life and aids in preparation for the life to come. So actually the laws of health is actually preparing us for the life in heaven. Alright, so it's a life we need to practice here first before we get there. Alright? Lead the people to study the manifestation of God's love and wisdom in the works of nature. Lead them to study that marvelous organism, the human system, and the laws by which it is governed. So this is telling us that we need to understand how our bodies work. So things like anatomy and physiology, not needing to go in depth into how the body works, but simple things, that we ought to know and understand. We need to take time to learn these things. Alright? Those who perceive the evidences of God's love, who understand something of the wisdom and beneficence of His laws and the results of obedience, will come to regard their duties and obligations from an altogether different point of view. Instead of looking upon an observance of the laws of health as a matter of sacrifice or self-denial, they will regard it as it really is, as an inestimable blessing. So practicing the laws of health is really for your good, it's for your blessing, it's for your benefit. This is why we practice the laws of health. And as we practice such, God will use us then as examples that others who would be looking in would see that they could live like how we live and benefit the same way.
That's right.
Alright?
Yeah.
So I mean to say we don't have to dress the way they dress, we don't have to eat the way they eat, we don't have to enjoy some of the same pastimes and pleasures that they do, for us to enjoy life. Alright? Now this is every gospel. Yeah. Right, this is every gospel. Now take note of this. Every gospel worker should feel that the giving of instruction in the principles of healthful living is part of his appointed work. Of this work there is great need, and the world is open for it. So what this is saying here, this is not talking about health workers. This is talking about gospel workers. So if you consider yourself a gospel worker, a minister of the word of God, part of your work is to also give the health message. Right? And what's the reason? The world is open for it. Now we would have had instances where we went on the field and certain individuals wasn't interested in the gospel material. But the moment the health material was presented to them, they say, yes, I'll accept this. And this is why we learn that that would be the opening wedge to the gospel. So if they see virtue in the health message that they receive, it can lead them to also accepting the gospel that was given to them via the track, the health track. Yeah? So then there's virtue, there's great virtue in making sure to include a subject on health. You know, as we go about to do the work of spreading the gospel. Yeah, brother?
Yes, but in part of what you're saying, I'm going to say that too, right? And also, but you know, the Bible says our body is supposed to be the temple for God to dwell in, right? So, through the faith, God will dwell in the heart through the faith. But having that understanding in the mind, obviously, it will show us from the health aspect that you're supposed to be healthy, right? So in all things, it's showing the faith from the spiritual aspect and also health-wise, physically. So when you on the field, right, and you're doing your missionary work and you're preaching to others, you're supposed to be a person spiritually sound and holy and physically healthy.
The gospel.
So you can't go
that was
preaching to somebody and you're physically deteriorated.
Right.
Then what will say, well, what kind of thing is that?
Yeah,
well, the contrast, you know.
Yeah,
so the principle of faith suppose is
to them via the track. The health track.
Health-wise, the person who have the truth, that bringing the truth to others.
Yeah.
So that principle will dwell in the health aspect of the person's life as well.
Yeah. God, the Bible say, beloved, I wish that ye prosper and be in health, right? A Bible principle. So a lot of persons out there know that text. Right? So you presenting to them, you know, which ought to be leading by example. Right? Your health itself must be intact. Right? Now the evangelistic work is both a physical, well, it's actually a physical, mental and spiritual type of work. Alright? Physically, we are physically putting ourselves out there. Right? It includes walking, it includes standing for some time. Right? It includes standing, you know, exposing yourself to the elements and all these different things. We will be exposed out there. Right? The evangelistic work is not to be done on Zoom. Right? Or on Google Meet. Eventually, we are going to be restricted from even using these things. So it's a physical, face-to-face work where we need to go out there, right, and interact with the people, mingle with the people. These people will be carrying diseases, right, as all of us may carry, right. So we will be exposed, right. Pollution in the air, we will be out open to the elements. So we must be, God is looking for a fit, able persons then to carry the gospel. Is divinity combining with man, with humanity. That is the method that God is using. Just as He used Christ's divinity with humanity, that is the method God is using to carry the gospel. So we cannot overlook the humanity side of it, right? Which should represent the laws of health. And we also learn that the laws of health is just as good as the moral laws. Right? If the same way there's a condemnation or damnation for disregarding the moral law, the same goes for the laws of health. Yeah?
Christ was what God wanted all humanity to be.
Right.
So we look at, we speak about his blemish in terms of he was sin-free, he was sinless. But also she said he was healthy. Right? Jesus was a healthy person. Jesus was no sickly person.
Right.
So again, it shows even the Messiah himself, being the Messiah and being dealing without spot and blemish, he had a physical health.
Right.
Now next thing we look at what is happening with the the technology and people get a lot of lazy, especially with the COVID. Churches have been closed down for two years, but we could have gone out, you know. It's not like they couldn't go. But this whole system, it's spoiled human beings, making them lazy.
Yeah.
People don't want to go to the hot sun. You know, we don't want to do these kind of things. You can see where it's something we have to get out of.
Yeah.
You look at the Bible again. You see Jesus going from Jerusalem all the way to Jerusalem. You know, they were walking
On foot.
Right, and just taking hot
Yeah.
sun. I mean, because my mom just came from Jerusalem and she was telling me, she said really hot.
Yeah.
Nothing like how hot our heat is. We have to do a lot of walking. Right? So
Yeah.
I'm saying that again too. We have to be careful of being spoiled. And the mind says the people will not come to us.
We have to go to them.
And
Yeah.
that is a thing that matter. And when I say go wherever you have to go, whatever time you have to go, just go to be the people. That's
Yeah.
the essence of missionary work.
Yeah.
Self-sacrifice.
And I realize it's a plan of the devil, but of course, you know, whilst Satan may plan, God will allow his will to be done even within that plan, right?
That's right.
So Satan's plan was to get people indoor, right? Away from interacting with other people. Hence the COVID, right? It had many plans within the COVID, but that is one of them.
Yeah.
Right? And get them used to being inside. Away from the natural things, the oxygen, the sun and these things, right? Which is getting them more sick. But building the dependency now on online, that online virtual lifestyle, right? Where some persons no longer see interest in fellowshipping, right? Which is a whole different experience, right? Yeah, it's a whole different experience in gathering, okay? The phone call make me lose the train of thought, right?
Fellowship,
Yeah.
yeah, online gathering.
Right, so
Online.
Brethren, take off your handsets while in the house of God. Right? Yeah. So Satan is using that as a plan to hamper the work, right? The ministering of the gospel. Okay? People are becoming fearful of people now. You see? That was not Christ. Christ mingled with the people. And as he saw opportunity, he would spread the gospel. Right? And this is the same principle we ought to set, right? So again, the subject is health. And the main thing we need to understand is that we must have health of mind. Okay? Because the mind itself is engaged in spreading the gospel. We must have a sound mind. And that goes back to everything we consume. Right? The mind itself is negatively impacted by what we consume. And consumption is not only through the mouth, by what we eat. Consumption is what we look at, what we hear, right? The avenues to the soul, that is what we consume. And all these things have a negative impact on our minds. Okay? Alright. The requirements of God must be brought home to the conscience. Men and women must be awakened to the duty of self-mastery, the need of purity, freedom from every depraving appetite and defiling habit. They need to be impressed with the fact that all their powers of mind and body are the gifts of God and are to be preserved in the best possible condition for His service. And this is what it's all about. Being of service, a servitude for God. Okay? And the physical must be properly taken care of, even the mental and the spiritual, to have us fit then, or well fit for the service of God. Alright? So it's not really about us, you know. It's about how God could use us, alright, to do His work. God wouldn't overlook the fact that you are treating anybody bad, right, or eating the wrong foods, or doing the wrong lifestyle practices. He wouldn't overlook these things and say, or give you a blight then, and give you that spiritual endowment then, to still carry His work. The physical will affect the spiritual. Yeah? Right, so that's the foundation, brethren. That is set. We understand our objective. We understand the health ministry is very vital. I read somewhere Sister White say that the health ministry, the medical missionary work would actually be the final work on this earth.
And she also said all ministers,
Right?
all ministers supposed to
Yeah.
do it.
Because when you look at Christ's work, he did more healing than he did teaching and preaching. It was more healing. He was actually doing the health ministry. And that is what brought the multitudes. That the fact that he was able to heal. And of course it was an opportunity to spread the gospel, to teach them spiritual things. Yeah?
Because people are really broken.
Yeah.
So you really need to meet them there first before you're giving them the whole Bible, and they can't
Right.
just sit for the broken.
Yeah, so we need to meet them where they are at, and then bring them up.
Yeah.
Alright? So this would bring us to one of the main subjects for today, which is mole. Alright? I know Brother West and myself was having a slight discussion about it yesterday. Myself, I had an experience with it just recently. Alright? So I see the importance of bringing this subject to the fore. Alright? Everyone here understand what is mole and how dangerous mole is? So we look into what causes mole, right? Mole in the home is caused by excess humidity. Around the time when we were having the floods and thing in the country, I think we had rain almost every day, right? For that entire week. I would speak for a little bit on my experience, right? That entire week, the sun wasn't even out, right? It was just heavy overcast and rain. And by, what I noticed in my bedroom, on the wooden cupboards, you see a little film, a white film, right? Yeah, on the doors of the cupboard. So obviously I noticed it as mole, but I was surprised. It seems like it would just appear overnight. Alright, but of course, mole, because it's so fine, it takes some time after it develop and it grow and it mature. It becomes like a little white gray, and then it becomes black. But it starts at a fine size that you wouldn't see to the naked eye. Alright, so that would have been fostering and building up to the point where it became visible. So it was mole, and to my mind I was like, oh, but I understand because the humidity levels, the sun wasn't out, the wind wasn't even blowing, constantly moist every day, the humidity levels increase, and that is an environment for mole to strive in. Alright? Right, so that's our next thing, right? Right, if the wood is an organic thing, the moisture in the wood is a foundation for mole to strive. Right, so all those are things to look at. Alright? And I got sick. I started to get a little throat infection. Alright, a little sore throat. Alright? For like 2 days. Of course I used things to fight it off. But I understood that it came directly from the mole situation. Alright? So obviously we'd look into what exactly causes it and ways to get rid of it, right? Alright, if a house be built where water settles around it, remaining for time and then drying away, a poisonous miasma arises, and fever and aches, sore throat, lung disease and fevers will be the result. Alright, so water settling in certain areas, obviously as I come to the floods and these things, water settling in these areas could lead to, especially if it's constant, could lead to the formation of mole. Alright. Shade trees and shrubbery too close and dense around a house are unhelpful. Alright, so having these large shade trees that has a big canopy, too close to the house, that will be blocking off air and sunlight. Alright, so the aim is to try and get rid of these trees. Smaller trees, if you need a tree close to the house, it should be a short. A tree shouldn't be taller than the house, or you hire taller trees further away from the house. So at least you get proper penetration of sunlight and the proper flow of air. Okay? For they prevent free circulation of air and prevent the rays of sun from shining through sufficiently. Alright, so take that in mind. Look at the surroundings and see if that is in fact what is happening. Rooms that are not exposed to light and air become damp, and that is what happened in my scenario. I took it for granted. Probably the windows would have been closed. I mean, rain falling. And the windows were closed day and night. Right? Air wasn't passing through sunlight. Alright? Beds and bedding gather dampness. And the atmosphere in these rooms is poisonous because it has not been purified by light and air. So light and air actually brings purification. Sleeping apartments should be large and so arranged as to have a circulation of air through them day and night. Notice when I came here this morning, you all realize the area open up, all the windows open, open the back door, open that window there, open the front. So you got proper air circulation passing from front to back or back to front. Right? That is essentially how it's supposed to be. So even in your home setting, open the front door, open the back door, open your windows, and let air pass straight through.
So
right?
What you're teaching us is hygiene.
Right, so that is
we used to study in school before.
Right.
So this what they tell you how your house is supposed to be built, the area, so how so that the air can circulate, that the sun can go in on the beds,
right.
disinfect the bedrooms, and this is hygiene.
Yeah. So it's the law concerning hygiene, right? Yeah.
Two things. When my second brother was in New York, we had met a sister in Churchill House. And we met her in France, right? We became good friends. And then my friend had called me and she told me that she went to see the sister. And because of the winter, the sister was constantly inside. And she had the place cold and locked up, because these Americans, you see how the houses is made. It's not too ventilated. And so I was surprised when my friend, she's into health. People were going and visiting, pastors was going, they were studying on the girls on the bed and stuff like that. But when she got there now, and she said when she went in, she could smell the road, she could see the
they smell it. Yeah.
And she said more was in the bed, more was in the chairs, it was in the blanket, it was in the rolls. And so when she saw it, she took the girl one time and she took her to the hospital. By the time she got to the hospital, she already had cancer. Right? She's alive, and the girl died. And listen, we were so shocked. She actually got cancer because she was there. And the thing about it, she was there for months locked in. And the pastors were going there and they were seeing it, but they weren't aware of it. So as soon as she saw it and she smelled it, she took her up and it was really eventually died. We were really sad about it. So I say that to say how dangerous it is.
I learned that late in life how dangerous mold is, because I remember it's 2 years ago when I got sick again and I said, but it's mold. Right? So I couldn't understand. I tried different things because I remember the first thing you need to do is get rid of the mold. And you get sick, right? Like take off the tap, get rid of the mold, and then take the remedial remedies to help fight it off in your system, because it's in your system, right? And
there's another factor, because if you look at the way, like in England, around the Elizabethan time in America, because in fact we don't have winter here, two seasons. And you notice that in my time in 1800, people were sick. Even in my son died young. One of the son died from tuberculosis, something was under control. And you would find the kings and the queens, if you look at the medieval times, they were always sick. And part of the reason was all the big heavy drapes that used to be keeping inside. And it doesn't open up the place. The system, I say, let the sunlight hit the wall, hit the bed, hit everything. But even when we travel and stuff, and especially when we have places like we went for a time in England, we had this place like this, we open the whole place. It's just the thing, right? And I noticed something I noticed in me. Every time I'm in Trinidad, I will be sick. If I go to New York, I will not be sick. And I try to look up what is happening. And the strange thing, because I like cold, I will walk in the winter and I take in this cold, fresh air. So for the 5 months, because I've always used to go mostly around that time. And because I'm breathing in air, and the heart is pumping, and my health will improve. And as soon as I came back to Trinidad, if people ask me, why you don't stay there? Because they find that they can understand why. It's a simple cold breeze, how important air is. So this is a serious thing, what they're saying here. And you have to always be careful because that is why a lot of people die during the medieval time. It was simple things like pneumonia or tuberculosis. And then when they say they don't want to have frequent bathing, they want to take with the water and wipe out. That is not bathing, it's important. So I say the more you bathe, the better it is. Because we know what bathing cleans the skin. So this is, it may sound simple, but it's very, very important.
It's very profound.
I don't go move because I do join the other side.
Right.
So I come across it a few times and different things to deal with it, right? But I just want to say, when you find the area more in your house, in the place, and you need to make sure we are a mask.
Of course.
And a filter.
Must wear a mask.
That is just the normal one.
The
one
mask.
that have the air filter cartridge.
Right. Oh, alright.
Right? Make sure you use that one because that is filtered by the micron.
Right. Yeah.
It might be a little more, but it's a good investment to have.
Right.
Because that is protecting more than the actual just normal mask. Use that, remember, you're breathing in spores. And the size of the spores is by micron. So the filter mask is based upon microns, 10 microns.
Right. So at least the mask will still protect you from a certain percentage. Yeah, that's important. You need to wear a mask when you're cleaning when you're cleaning up. You must wear a mask and you must wear a glove. Because it is transdermal, it could go through the pores of your skin.
I think it is important to know that.
Okay, hold on. Before you go, there's someone online want to get a question. That's it. Okay, go ahead, Brother Noel.
Noel.
Hi, good morning, brethren. Happy Sabbath to you all.
Same to you, man.
Right, just a minute.
Go ahead.
I get a little feedback here. Right, okay, yes. Sunday when we went out to do missionary work there in Princess Town, right? After the missionary work, I went to visit a family in DB, right? The early part of DB, right? And this was a lady who is very, very sick, really, really sick, bad, having a lot of anxiety problems because of the sickness. And the source of the sickness was found out to be moles in the house. And she was up to her throat in death. Her daughter there got sick, the daughter had to move out of the house. All the ceiling had moles, all the rooms had moles, the kitchen had moles, all the clothes, everywhere you turned was moles. And by the way, these houses are built and they're very spacious, right? It's an HDC project. But the material that was used in building the house, when the rain fell heavily, it causes water seeped in certain parts and this mold infestation took place. So she's now taken an initiative with the HDC to get the matter resolved. She has been speaking to them over and over, but nothing happening. You know what she eventually found out, brethren? 400 homes in the area infested with the very mold. People are getting cancer, people are coming out with all types of respiratory disorders. It is also important to take note of the materials. And if these materials are damp or if they're exposed to moisture of any kind or if there's some leakage in the roof or water seeping in, it's very, very, very dangerous. It can literally cause your death. Yes?
Thanks, Brother Noel. So, and this is one of the points in bringing this to the fore, as I say, right? We are doing an evangelistic work. Some of these souls we will be going into, alright? And these people will be sick, and they will be looking for our assistance to help solve the problem. So this is one of the first things we are telling them. That mold situation you have there, you need to remedy and fix that. You want to say something?
I want to just come back based on what Brother Noel was saying. A lot of houses building in Trinidad today, and as in New York, the people starting to build basements. And as long as you have basements, and if you look at in New York, most houses in New York, or people who in the basement, very often it is mold saturated. Why? Because they don't have proper drainage system, like the rubber drains. to take the water away from hitting against the concrete because the house is in the basement. Right? So that is one. And we in Trinidad now start to develop that same attitude of building our house and having it with a mini basement and not proper drainage to take the water away. Now, the next thing is very few people understand mold problem. So they live in it, they just try to clean it out a bit and continue to live. So it is important that we try to recognize that and even point out to people the problem about mold. Now, when you think about what you say about somebody was talking about the house,
Brother Noel.
A lot of those houses too. Long time ago, a builder, when you put down the foundation, you make sure and you put certain material below that when the water sometimes seep up, go back down and not continue to hit and penetrate the house itself. So is all these things happening now because building houses for people to live quick and all these other things. So it's an important thing to recognize because endless people in Trinidad today don't understand the real problem about it.
Right, and this is only the beginning, right? Now the Bible talk about pestilences, just some pestilences, right? We shouldn't just isolate that to the common pestilence that we are seeing now. This mold infestation is a pestilence now. You see? And when we look at all the flooding and these things that are taking place, which we know will only get worse, we are seeing now more and more the situation could heighten. It could escalate. Okay? So we need to understand mold, as you say, how it works, right? And ways to avoid it. But Gavin and then Sharon.
No, I saw you speaking about the mold and the house and thing, and the areas that flood the other day, where it was kind of in the water and the water reaching them almost to the house, almost in the house and all these things. So now the water subside, but they still have the stuff in the house, the walls I guess will still be wet because, so we know for a fact that mold develop, and then right after they will fall sick, so they will think they're getting the cold or something, I think.
Brethren, we have an inspired writer, inspired prophet, Sister, I talk about these things, but we'll touch on it later on in any presentation, right? Right.
Some of the things we saw in Jamaica, we saw in Grenada, we saw in Barbados, and we was like, why do they put blocks and we know countries about that because I remember sometimes people would put ventilation, but houses being made now, all that was important to keep the fresh air in. Even with us, as you all know, we had gotten, we even made them brother, 6 rooms of our place, where the rest about 25 buckets. 15 buckets of one room. 6 of flood water, 25 buckets of this of the room. And everything except we had 6 in the system. And by the time we came, Gavin was there too, and we had to go and take up condition. By the time we finished, we were down with fever. Two of us was down with fever. That's why you didn't see us for a while because we get really sick. But again, our bodies, by the reason we drink herbs and take vinegar and bleach and clean up walls and listen, it was something that we actually got sick from just the water touching our feet and our hands. You see, so the thing happened is that because Gavin is asthmatic, so we keep it root. But listen, first I came down and I tell you, real fever. And you want to know where this fever is from.
So the body fighting the pathogens that enter the bloodstream, So so this modern day, the modern style of building houses and how we even furnish our houses, it could lead to our demise. Right. But what was our commission, especially in these last days, where we need to be? We talk a little bit about that, right? We're Brother Gavin.
So that in this scenario, right, considering the modern thing, it have multiple ways. It have been multifaceted in dealing with it.
Yeah.
The approach, how to approach it, right?
Right.
And we touch a couple, in terms of, okay, if somebody gonna build a place, how they will do it. So you have a science of how to do things.
Right.
And so you have to take into consideration when you're designing a place,
Yeah.
you want maximum airflow.
Yeah.
And how you will put certain bricks and stuff like that. So I mean, okay, realistically, people had that in their mind, they just want to chop this, chop a foundation, chop some walls, move over my head and I go.
Yeah.
So that is the scenario when you go and you feel you're going to meet with. You'll
Right.
see all kind of people build a house in all kind of places and all kind of right? So you have that aspect of it with its various challenges.
Yeah.
And then you have the next aspect now when people taking sick. Most of them, majority of them not aware is that for years people getting sick and they're not aware the cause of the health problems is right in the home right there. So then you have to bring that knowledge to them. And our next point too is okay, health wise now, the diet, which come after diet that I have.
Right.
So it's different aspects of it.
Compound in it. Yeah.
Compound in it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a multifaceted approach.
Yeah.
The best way is to mitigate the situation.
Alright, so well, let's look into that.
Just let me make a show, very short. There is something that today houses are built for. If you look at air conditions,
Yeah.
air conditions.
Seal up everything.
And then there is something that we continue to do. Well, not me.
Them.
Air conditioned house. As you walk from your air conditioned house to go to your car, you put an umbrella over your head. And then from there you move in your car and you put on the air condition again. And then very soon you have to go to a doctor and the doctor says, I'll give you a B injection. And that injection is sometimes $200 and $300. The doctor ain't telling you it's sunlight to give you. You understand me?
Yeah.
Imagine in Trinidad, we going by a doctor and taking an injection for sunlight. But he didn't tell him to go outside in the yard, walk in the yard. So, from a conditioned house to an umbrella overhead to a conditioned car. And to the doctor. No, I just wanted to make it.
Right, so we are looking into ways to help solve this mold situation, this mold problem, right? Now, first and foremost, the setting that we are living in is unnatural. Alright, when God put Adam on this earth, Adam wasn't in these four walls enclosed like this. Alright, first and foremost. So that is why how the houses are built today, as you all keep saying, you know, it is not fit for our well-being. Alright, it's an unnatural setting. Alright, just like. So are you saying we should go in the bush and live? Again, what were we commissioned to do? Okay, so let's look at simple ways. So whilst we are still in the city, which we really ain't supposed to be, alright, for the same issue, the same situation, whilst we are still in our natural setting, there are different things we can do to help alleviate or reduce mold, right? So using plants to help keep mold at bay is a practical and natural way to control humidity and moisture in your home.
Bring the garden inside.
Yeah? So you bring the garden inside.
Yeah.
Because really and truly supposed to be outside, right?
Yes.
But no problem, we're not setting right now where we cannot be there. So bring the garden inside. Okay? Alright. So what are some plants we could use to help with the mold situation or humidity situation in our homes?
The lash plant.
You're not phone.
Somebody online.
Not good, Anton.
Yeah.
Take it easy,
And you phone calls, so I am going to the
that bad.
ring.
Yeah. Alright, what are some plants that you're familiar with that we can use? Alright, to control humidity in our homes. Palms can be used. Alright, you all might be familiar with some of these palm plants. Alright, the areca palm, the bamboo palm, the lady palm. Essentially any palm that we usually grow down here. You know, these are some palms we could use inside our dwelling place. Alright, what the palms do, the palms, alright, they control humidity and mold, and they keep mold at bay. Alright, they actually absorb moisture into the leaves. And what they also do, what these plants do, they produce oxygen. Alright, oxygenating the area, oxygenating the dwelling place. Alright, which is an favorable setting for mold to strive in. Snake plant, popular one. Yeah. There's two variety, the yellow one and the green one. Alright. Yes, this one is probably the best, I believe. Yeah, come on. Alright. This one actually helps with mold, it has reduced mold population in your home. Alright. Spider plant, next familiar one locally. Alright. This removes pollutants from in the air. Gives the oxygen. There's the fern, the Boston fern. Alright. Aloes can also be used too. Alright, if you want to look into kind of the color and flowers, you know, flowering plants, the peace lily. And then also we have the orchids. Orchids are very good at reducing humidity in the air. It's a little expensive, but I think Brother Edwards just harvest them, and you know. Right, so brethren, these are simple things you could use. It brings beauty, it brings oxygen, right, into the home. Alright, it cleanses the air, and it allows a terrible place for mold to strive. Yeah, all cactuses could be used. Yeah. Alright, they really pull moisture from the air. Yeah. Yeah, you don't, right, that way you don't necessarily need to water it a lot. Alright, yeah, it's a self-sustained plant. Yeah? So simple remedies, right?
There was a time in Trinidad where they pointed out that the best hospital to go in was San Fernando Hospital.
Windows all around.
But very lately they start to build different parts where they close it. But if you look at San Fernando Hospital is really made open up.
All around is glass. All around. Yeah, always.
You know? So, again too, but remember, that is where doctors are. When the doctors stop looking at the goodness of the open and start to allow it to be closed down.
That's why sister, my cousin in the sanitariums, they must have these nice fields and
open up areas.
They must have that. Anytime we open a sanitarium, that's a building. They must have nature because they could sit. Because part of the problem is really nature.
Yeah.
Sunlight, plants, and
So I'll use this to, I don't think I should go into the next part of the presentation because still have Brother West present. But I'll use that to end this subject, alright? Regarding the mold situation. So of course, you know, ways to remediate, as I say, bring any plants in. If there is mold, visible mold especially, the method is to clean it. Alright? Put on the mask, put on gloves, and use vinegar, use white vinegar. Yeah, use white vinegar. I wouldn't recommend anything else but white vinegar. And spray the walls, spray wherever there is the mold exists. Raw, or it's strong, yeah. Right. On the walls, on the cupboards, wherever the mold exists, you spray. You leave it for some time and then come back in with a cloth and a gloves, with gloves on, and wipe it off. Alright? Make sure the windows open, make sure the curtains pull. Alright, that is a decent way to help mitigate the physical mold situation.
If you're building your own house,
Right.
make
So,
sure
so
that-
regarding building a house, in this day and age, we ought not to be building houses in the city. Right? Our commission is to go in the country. And notice the virtues in going in the country, right? Building a country setting. A country home would not be built like a home in the city. Correct? It actually wouldn't be built the same way.
What you said?
Big soda.
Right, so baking soda can be used too.
Alright.
Alright.
It's better to put in house high, they can have the
Breeze blowing.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And she did say go high.
Yeah.
Right? Right.
No, you can put your boo.
Yeah. Now we don't worry about that, man. That
Have less things in your house.
yeah.
Don't have your house cluttered as well.
Yeah, that's right.
People, a lot of people just put up a lot of things.
Yeah. So practice minimalism in your home. Alright. We are seeking to leave this earth soon. So we don't need all these material, all these things in our home. Alright?
Some people have a practice too.
Fans and extractor fans.
Yes.
The extractor helps in the better.
There's a practice of some people too that, you make a bread and it starts to get moldy. And you cut out the piece. You cut out the piece and you continue to eat. But there is something that starts to happen in the bread already.
Long time.
That,
Spread all over that
so the key thing is that when it starts to happen, you have to get rid of it.
You get fruits too.
Yes.
Right? So even in our foods it have mold, right?
Yeah.
Right, so that is why even as the mold enters our system, what do we do? I think we spend enough time talking about
The mold.
taking time to detox your blood, detox your system, cleanse your system. Your food itself is supposed to be naturally detoxing and cleansing you. Right, especially if you are consuming a high fruit-based diet. Especially morning times you consume a lot of fruits. The morning time is the time when the body is continuing the cleansing from overnight. Right? So if you allow high hydration fruits, pawpaw, watermelon, pineapple, once you can get good sources of them, you allow these things, it will hydrate the cells, it will flush and it will cleanse. Alright? Increase your water intake. These are natural ways to detox your system. Alright? Avoid too much of the processed and cooked foods then. Alright? Not saying don't eat it, but in moderation. Right. I see citrus. People may think citrus to be acidic. It's acidic to the tongue, but the body processes it. Or in other words, it produces an alkaline ash when the body processes it. Alright?
So much sugar in you create it to the acid.
Right.
Yes, it's sugary one.
Right? So cleansing, detoxing, using cleansing and detoxing herbs also. Chelation herbs and these things. The same ones you use to get rid of heavy metals. Alright, these are some of the things. Charcoal, bandania, parsley, alright, cilantro and all these different things. Alright, using some of these things to help get rid of mold, help get rid of toxins and pathogens from any system. Alright, brethren? So the final alright, charcoal, very good. Alright, yes,
Trap poison.
must be activated. Alright, again and again the Lord has instructed that our people are to. Alright, so this was in response to the other subject I wanted to present, right? But planting your own. Of course, to plant your own, you need to be in a setting, right? To plant your own, alright, in the country. Of course, the country setting again is the most is the best position for us to be in to help mitigate some of the situation, because we learned that the city areas will be heavily polluted. Alright? So that is why, the better place for us to be is in the country, where we can actually plant our own foods, so we know what we are eating. Alright, because the foods essentially that they are giving us to consume right now, right, that they are seeking to give us also, is terrible. Right? It's sad. And that was the other part of the presentation, but we take some time to look in that next day. Alright, brethren, so any final questions before we close off? Try to go live with this.
Anybody online want to ask a question? Sister Angela, I know you have understanding on mole. Sister Angela, you can say something. Well, Noel, anyone else?
I want to answer a question, right? Based on what we have on the screen there, we have told more or less the state to go in the country, but when they're embedded in the town, it takes money to make their move. Everybody does have money to make their move. How do we go about moving?
I believe God will provide a way, right? Because if
sometimes we might be sitting and we are not in.
But within a given situation, you could.
Because if you're talking about going in the country, you have to talk about getting land, you have to talk about building and certain things. I mean, it's easy to say go in the city, in the country, right? But how do we go? How do we get there?
Alright, so
Let me see if I can answer.
yeah, but I don't have the answer.
We continue to live as individuals. And because every one of us as an individual who live in the town, sometimes we find it difficult to move. But what about if we start to think a collective revitalize? Then collective, we then capable to move. See? And then though, even if somebody can't leave the town right now, he know where he could go, and then he could go back into town to do his work. Because it will always have a multitude of people in the town that you have to work on or work with. Right? Because we technically working on ourselves while we living among ourselves, we planting our food, we doing what supposed to be done. Well, so that to me that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that what happened to us, we so continue to think as individuals that very often sometimes we doesn't look at our neighbor who's sick. You know?
And then people who have 20 acres of land, they can tell this is where Christianity comes in. You have 25 acres, and you know a brother in your church and you keep living in the city. They can offer him another 2 lots or something.
The early church, didn't they do that? Right? They sold what they had and gave to others, or even piece of land.
People have 20 acres of land just resting there.
I
have somebody not my alone.
That's the point. You see, it's easy to say,
brother,
Everybody's a family business, so you can't just take it and dispense.
I'm trying hard now at this point in time, to get families to go back on the land, go back home. So we're preparing that, so that's good.
Right.
The same way too, that in Valencia where we have this land with my mother-in-law, I have discussion with my mother-in-law, husband, children, and starting to think to them about what we should do, what we should plant and so. But it's a bit of headache. Because like it's taking long for simple things, you know, but because they're not like-minded as you.
Yes. You see, that's the point. Now, if we had to apply this, it must be from a collective Christ-minded move. That's why, you see, as long as we see ourselves as individuals and separate, and we will make it, you know.
Yeah.
You understand me? We have to understand all of us are one. We might be living in different places, but we one in Christ, you know.
Yeah.
And if we don't come to that reality and understand that we are the household of faith and we really and truly supposed to be looking after each other and stop seeing this thing as me and I and start to see it as us. And then all our finances, everything will be channeled for our, how I should say, benefit and the carrying of the gospel. And it could only work until we come, you know, we could say we are one, and not say we are one, but until we are ready to come one in the true sense of the word, brethren, many things wouldn't happen. We really have to be one in mind, one in life, one in love, one in Christ, one in every single thing.
Right. I agree.
Yes.
Exactly.
Important.
So it will happen, and that's why I went back to the early church, right? When they harmonized and they became one, right? Nobody lacked anything, right? It was distributed, because it was distributed evenly and accordingly, you know, as they had need.
So we're not
Right?
supposed to have brethren among them, they get breakfast, they sit
Right.
and study, and they head one then with the volume that
Right.
this thing not supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it is the responsibility of us elders and deacons, etc. You see, the pulpit is only a first part, you know.
Yeah.
And anybody could do that. You could sit down and talk until Jesus
For
comes.
Christians.
But at the end of the day, the real work starts when you take off them clothes and you start to help one another. Now we start to do the gospel. We now start to implement the gospel. And as long as we're not doing that, brethren, our brethren are supposed to be, they have no house, their house falling down, and we know they get wet and there's problem. We need, as the writing said, we have to go back to the Ephesus and the early church, brethren, and really have that genuine love for each other where we really can. And we must, we have to do it to nobody else. We have to get it done.
Yeah. And once we start the process of having it